Hello friends, welcome back to the final installment of Let's Play Mega Man Unlimited. So, the last video ended just a little bit abruptly. I wasn't entirely sure whether or not I'd be able to save in the final level, but I can, so there's no problem there. Just to sort of finish up what I was talking about in the last video about the final boss. That was basically the final boss. This next level doesn't really have much of anything to it. It's mainly for dramatic / story effect. You know, one of those kinds of final levels. You'll see what I mean once we get into it. But yeah, the main reason that I hated that last boss so much is that, as with a lot of things in this game, the whole thing just sort of comes together and ends up being sort of even more annoying than the sum of its parts, if that makes any sense. Because, yeah, like, it takes forever to figure out that final boss, and every time, or at least it took me forever, and every time you fail at it and end up getting a game over, you have to replay the entire frickin' Robot Master refights, which, again, are arbitrarily lengthened by those completely unnecessary little segments of level between each boss, and it's just, yeah, it's just super long. It's like, it's a really obtuse boss, and it takes forever to get to him again between each attempt, and it's just, completely awful. It really... last impressions are, like, almost as important as first impressions, I'd say, when it comes to forming a person's overall impression of a game. And once again, I don't understand why all of these spikes are, like, even here. It's, like, practically inconceivable that anyone would even, like, jump into those by accident. It's like you'd have to be wanting to suicide here in order to even get hit by any of those spikes. It's just, I don't know, put spikes everywhere just in case someone might jump into them, and that would be great. Although, actually, as much as I'm complaining about them, it actually does serve a purpose in that, as I mentioned before, the only way to save in between each Wily level is to get a game over, and those spikes there are your best way of getting a game over. I seriously doubt that that's the intention here, but, so yeah, those spikes are useful in that regard. Anyways, enough bitching about the previous level, onto this level, and now we go on to the real final boss, I guess you could call it? Not really. So this here, mysterious robot in a red capsule. Oh, that looks like, what's his name, from that other Mega Man series. So yeah, this is basically a callback to... and I guess he's just gonna walk towards me. Hey buddy, what's up? I remember you from another Mega Man series. Just sort of, I don't know, giving Mega Man a once over, twice over, 3 times over. I don't think he starts attacking you until you move at all. Because, like, yeah, even if I, like, take one step backwards, I think he'll go apeshit. Yeah, apeshit and start attacking me. So, yeah, this is, obviously meant to be some sort of, prototype Zero. And, yeah, as you can see, he just sort of bats away your shots. Whoa. E-Tank. So, yeah, this, it's just the name of what this is a reference to is escaping me. It's one of the Mega Man arcade games. It's like, they're actually not that well known. It's a series of arcade games that are sort of like Mega Man fighting games. Mega Man... I think it was Mega Man the Power Battles, or Mega Man the Power Fighters, or something like that. Yeah, something like that. Where, yeah, the ending, one of the endings to that game, I think it was Base's ending, yeah, at the end, it shows you as sort of like a tie-in to the Mega Man X series. You get to see, like, this sort of prototype Zero robot, and it sort of reveals that reveals once again that Zero was one of Wily's creations, I guess, near the end of the regular Mega Man timeline. So as you can probably tell by now, this is an impossible boss fight, and oh, there's Mega Man's arm gets lopped up. Just a nice little callback to the title screen there. I kind of like that. But apparently, yeah, I guess Zero tired himself out there. Yeah, as to the ending I'm talking about, I think it was, yeah, Base's ending in the second Power Fighters game, where it's like, Base is all like taunting Wily, how he's like, yeah, I'm the strongest, and then Wily's like, you're not the strongest, I have this awesome robot right here that could totally kick your ass once it's done, and then might as well switch back to being blue for effect, and you can see his arm is missing. You can't use our Buster at all during this segment, or any of our other weapons for that matter. And actually, it's kind of funny. I think Base quips something, says something to the effect of like, "This is the strongest robot. He looks like a girl," or something like that when he sees the prototype Zero. This segment right here is actually, you are on a time limit here. If you take too long to get through this segment, yeah, the whole base sort of explodes and you die. But it's the time limit you're given is sort of extremely generous. In fact, the only reason I know about it at all is because I saw someone else time over in another Let's Play. So yeah, I don't think it's very likely that any modestly competent player is ever going to even know that there's a time limit in that segment. So that's the end of the game. So yeah, that whole last level wasn't really much of a level. It was just mainly to sort of, I guess, show off Zero and connect this game to the Mega Man X timeline or something, I guess. I don't know. Personally, I don't really like the way they did things here. Just because, well, first of all, that means that basically, like, the sort of proper final boss ends up being the Wily boss fight, which, for all the reasons I mentioned, I think is just an awful, awful way to sort of end the game proper. And just aside from that, from sort of, I guess, a story perspective, I guess you might say, it just seems, I don't know, it's kind of comes off as like the most stereotypical fan-wanky kind of bullshit nonsense imaginable, where they just kind of, let's put Zero in our original Mega Man series fan game to connect it to the X series because, I don't know, epic finish or something, and Zero is the best character ever. Oh my god. I don't know. It seems kind of unnecessary. I mean, this is just me personally. I can see how some people might think this is just like a dumb thing to complain about, or think or even think it was like a cool thing to include Zero at the end there. I don't know. Personally, I don't think this game really kind of deserves to tie itself into the official canon that strongly in that way, if you sort of get what I'm saying. I don't know. It's not, I'm spending too much time harping on this, really. It's not a huge complaint. It just kind of struck, I don't know, just something seems kind of off about it to me. And regardless of, like, whether you think it was a good idea to include Zero at the end or not, I would have much rather preferred that they have, like, a real final boss fight for that final stage there. The escape sequence is pretty good. It's a decent way of doing that. Yeah, just the escape sequences in general. Apparently a big popular thing in platformers. Rockman Minus Infinity did the exact, or something very similar. I think the escape sequence is actually handled much better here than in Rockman Minus Infinity. Maybe I'll let's play that game some other time and talk about that in more detail, but yeah, this is the end of the game. A couple back-to-back anticlimactic finishes, first with the god-awful Wily fight, and then with just the complete non-entity of a final stage where it's basically impossible to die, basically. Or, you know, extremely easy and virtually impossible to die if you're really trying and modestly competent at the game. This is one thing I actually really like. It reminds me, I think they started doing this in Mega Man 9. Yeah, they just have, like, nice little, you know, cartoon drawings of the robot masters and see sort of what they got up to after getting their asses kicked by Mega Man and having all the evil beaten out of them. It's just, yeah, it's really cute, and it kind of adds some more personality to the robot masters. It's just, I don't know, I really liked it in Mega Man 9, and I really like it here, too. I can't remember if they did the same thing in Mega Man 10 or not, which is weird, because I've actually played through Mega Man 10 a lot more times than Mega Man 9. I don't think they did it in Mega Man 10, I don't know. Glue Man still strikes me as looking, like, really stupid. I really wish they'd have... I don't know what else you'd do with, like, a robot man, like a Glue Man. What else would you make him look like that wouldn't be completely stupid looking, I guess? And the sprite is even worse, I think. But yeah, like I said, I actually do like pretty much all of the other Robot Masters. I think they all look decent enough, especially the sprite work. And yeah, all the sprite work and graphics in general in this game. That's like the one thing about the game I can like sort of unequivocally sort of praise as being like a almost universally good is the sprite work. The graphics and the sprites and the level backgrounds and just all the graphics in this game were really good. And a lot of the music too. I don't think I commented about it, but like not the final Wily Fortress, the one we just went through, but in the previous video, that Wily 4 has really, really good music. Yeah, some of the best in the game, I think. Yeah, I think I've pretty much exhausted everything that I really wanted to say about this game in the LP. I've already gone on and on about sort of what I don't like about the overabundance of instant death gimmicks, how it's just, yeah, spikes and pits on practically every screen, and you're pretty much in constant danger of dying and having to replay like 5 to 7 minutes of level, so that's kind of consistently irritating. And there are some like super horrendous bullshit moments like Rainbow Man's stage and the end of Wily 1 and Wily himself. So yeah, it's overall, I'm not sure how I feel about the game. Personally, I think it's on the whole, if I were to sort of like try to sort of rate it objectively, I'd say like on the balance, I'd say it's kind of bad overall as a Mega Man game, like especially in comparison to like your official Mega Man games. I certainly don't like this game nearly as much as I like Mega Man 9 and 10, or even some of the lesser NES games. Like, I don't know, I'd put this maybe about on par with, like, Mega Man 5 and 6, but more annoying to play through just because of the difficulty. But, I mean, like I said, like, I say it's kind of bad overall, but I actually like it anyways, just because the challenge is actually one thing that I kind of like about the game, even though I think it's sort of bad. I think the way they sort of implemented the challenge was sort of bad overall. I don't like the way that they made it challenging, but the fact that it is like a challenging Mega Man game does make it... In fact, yeah, even though I'd say like maybe from a more objective standpoint, I'd say that this game is probably more badly designed than, say, Mega Man 5 or 6. I think I do like it better than either of those games. Again, just because I think it's better to be sort of badly designed and to err on the side of being a bit too challenging and unfair and bullshit than to be just like completely boring and easy and just had to have nothing to it, which was the main problem I had with Mega Man 5 and 6, is there's just like nothing to those games, no challenge, you just breeze. I think I actually cleared Mega Man 5 without continuing my first time through, and I beat most of the Robot Masters on my first try, first life even, without having the correct weaknesses. So yeah, that's sort of like the opposite end of crappy Mega Man games. Mega Man 8 was kind of the same way, although it had some like horrendous bullshit moments in there too. This is sort of the opposite end, where it's not like too easy to the point where there's just no substance to it. It's sort of on the other end where it's a bit too difficult, in particularly, in my opinion, ways that are a bit obnoxious and really irritating to play through, especially for the first time. In fact, I really didn't enjoy this game at all the very first time I played it, but then I gave it another shot. I went through the game a second time to try and collect all the Yoku letters, and Yoku Man's stage made a really good impression on me. And then, yeah, after playing it through a second time, I sort of warmed up to it a lot more. So yeah, I actually do like this game overall, in spite of all of the sort of problems I outlined and the things that I think aren't so good about it and the ways it can be improved. And from what I've read on the internet, a lot of the things I've sort of mentioned about the game, a lot of my impressions of it are the same as a lot of other people's impressions. And from what I hear, yeah, good job, MegaPhilX. Like, you know, for putting this out there. I enjoyed it. Thank you for making it for me and for all of us. I had fun with it, especially when I sort of gave it a second chance and went through a second time. And I do hear, actually, that he is going to What is this? Oh, I believe the game actually goes back to the title screen if you press start there. I have not seen this yet. This is Dr. Light speaking here. ... I have the data. Understand now. It's amazing! What's he talking about? What? Endless potential. I don't remember what the ending exactly was in this game. Maybe you guys were paying attention and can explain it to me in the comments. I don't have the slightest idea what was going on there. But anyways, I hear that MegaPhilX is going to be doing some revisions to this game based on like a lot of the complaints that I had. Not based on my complaints specifically, but like the complaints that are out there on the internet that are a lot of the same ones that I voiced in the LP. And so yeah, apparently he is planning to put in an easy mode, which will sort of make things a lot easier for you. Enemies do less damage, blocks over some of the more annoying pits to make things easier for you. So yeah, it's nice to have that. It would have been nice to have it in the first place, but from what I understand, this project was in development for like 5 years or something ridiculous like that. So I can see how they might not have wanted to waste a whole lot more time with frills like easy mode and playtesting Rainbow Man stage and that kind of nonsense. But yeah, I think it's really cool that he's still like dedicated to improving the game and is listening to feedback from fans. So maybe I might do, if a revision comes up at some point in the future, I might do a little follow-up video just to sort of let you, show you what ends up being changed and give my impressions of that when and if that ever comes out. But for now, that is, at long last, everything that I have to say about Mega Man Unlimited, I think. Was there anything else? Whatever. I'm way too bad about wrapping up these videos in a timely fashion, so I'll wrap it up here. I hope it was entertaining or informative or educational or something for you guys. It certainly was for me. And with that, thank you again for watching, and I will see you guys next time.